switched up, I just changed lanes. I be with them niggas getting money and with niggas who gang bang. You niggas too.
Actually removed that. I don't know why it played, but whatever. What's good
Yeah.
is the 10A podcast. It's your boy Norms, and I'm here with my guy Jose Belloso. Am I saying it right?
Belloso.
Belloso. Okay, you definitely sound American when you say it. You don't sound like
Yep.
your Mexican roots, dude. You're supposed to say what.
Well, I mean, if you say it correctly, it's Belloso with is that like a Y instead of two L's. But
Wait, Belloso, almost like she's
like,
Bella, right?
yeah, yeah. Well, if you translate it, it kind of almost says handsome bear
Oh, that's a
in
pause.
a
That's
way.
a pause right there, Jose. I don't know if we can do that in the show, man. That's
Yeah, I don't want to. We're good.
well, shit. Let's start it off. You got a fight coming up. You said, is it March 20, February 24th?
Yeah, it's the 24th of next weekend.
You got a fight coming up February 24th against Joseph Veazy, if I'm not mistaken. Veazy, right? He's 10
Yep,
and
that's
0,
correct.
7 knockouts. Looks
Yep.
like he's one of their prospects coming up undefeated. What are you doing to prepare for that fight?
I mean, really, nothing's changed. I mean, I just put in the hard work, put in the miles to make sure I'm ready for throwing hands, not throwing hands, whatever he comes with. I mean, he's a taller fighter, so I just make sure I do what our plan is to stay in close and just go at him.
So you're a welterweight. He was registered as a lightweight. Where's the fight taking place at?
It's at Maryland at the
I'm not talking
live.
about weight class, because I think you're registered as a welterweight. He's registered as a lightweight. What weight class?
Well, I usually fight out as a welterweight at 147, but they had asked me to go down 143.
Catchweight.
Yeah.
So let's get into that. So you're 4-3. You started off 4-0, right? You had 4 knockouts, and then it was like a cancellation. You had a loss, cancellation, whatever, right? And then you had like a gap between your fights. What happened from the beginning to what changed from the beginning and taking your first loss? Like how did that start off? Because you started like in your career, you actually became pro like around 25, 26, if I'm not mistaken.
I was a little older. I started late in my career. I mean, I started fighting when I fighting training when I was about 10. Did it for about 5 years, but never actually got to fight because we moved out here to Arkansas with my family. But as the years went by, I just decided. I mean, I should try it out again. Started training out at 25 again. Um, got back into it. Did just a few amateurs, and now me and my woman's like, well, you ain't getting any younger. Let's try it out. So for fun, let's do it for fun and see where it takes us. And I've been pro about maybe 4 years.
And so because a lot of these guys are like proteges, like you got your guys that start the amateurs young, come up, get pro, turn pro, then they get signed to a major company. Not the majority, but that's the story that people think. But you're coming from a different perspective. Probably the majority of boxers come from something similar to what you're coming from, if I'm not mistaken. Where, yeah, tell me.
Well, I mean, it's just I had when I turned 18, I had my first kid, so at a young age, and that kind of stopped me too for a while. I had to get an actual job, and you know, had to provide for the family, and kind of held me down a little bit. But as my daughter got older, I said, you know what? Let's get to it. Let's try it out again. Let's go for it. And, I mean, like my dad always says, me as a kid, I always like to throw some hands. So let's make it to where we won't get in trouble for it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it for a reason.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like a lot of people, a lot of casual boxing fans don't actually understand what the majority of the boxing professionals go through. And people don't realize that, like, the NBA, you go to college, right? And now college athletes get paid, and then you go to the NFL. Let's say if you make it. NHL, kind of the same way. Baseball, you get drafted, get paid. Basketball, same thing. You can go to Europe, make money. But in boxing, it doesn't work that way. And I think a lot of
No.
people don't actually understand that it doesn't. A lot of you individuals that box, the professionals, and there's actually more professional boxers than in any other sport. That's what people don't realize either, like literally
Oh yeah.
globally. That the majority of you guys have a handicap in a sense, unless you're signed to a major company like a Top Rank or a Golden Boy or whatnot. Can you tell us the struggles of that? Because it is really a struggle because you guys have to be prepared. You have to take care of your family. You got to find time to train. And this is a sport where people actually die. Like literally, people die. Like I think a couple weeks ago, I think the Japanese kid passed. I forgot his name.
Oh, yeah, he did. I can't remember his name right now, but yeah, he did. He went to the hospital, and I think what was it? A few days later, a
Yeah.
couple days later, he had passed away
Hmm.
from head injuries.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and it's kind of it's sad, but you guys out of the professional athletes, period, probably get the worst beginning of it, like until you become whatever or whatnot. How
Yeah.
difficult is it to balance real life? Like you just said, it took you had your daughter, you had to wait a few years, and I got a daughter too. So now I got four, and I know how hard it is for me even to record. Now you got to train, you got to do those things. How difficult is it to keep that balance?
Well, it's actually, I mean, it's difficult, I got, but unfortunately, good for me, I got a loving wife and kids. That I got two daughters now,
Oh,
but
nice.
they all support me. It's just really tough, just because let's I wake up 5, 6 in the morning, do my miles, do my cardio, go
Mhm,
to work from 7, from 8 to lunch, and at lunch I take another 30 minutes to 45, train, do some weights, more cardio, go back to work till 5 or 6. Then I go to a gym which I drive 45 minutes away to, and go another 2 to 3 hours at the gym for the actual boxing training. And the hardest part really is the time off from the family, because I mean, you got to have a real supportive family to be able to do that. And a lot of boxers know that. I mean, if you have a family, you don't spend very much time with them holidays,
mhm.
birthdays, and if you do, it's short periods of times. Like I know, last year on my daughter's birthday, I still trained half of the day that I missed half of her birthday. It's just, I could have taken her out, eating, doing something, but I had to be ready. And it's just, with my kind of, like you said, Mike, some of us boxers, we have to work hard for it. Uh, which I'm not saying the other guys haven't, because they've been doing it since they were younger.
Yeah,
Since, like you said, proteges, they're born into it. And but when they go pro, they get a lot of what they call bags, sacks, to pick up the record. And us,
yeah.
that we turn pro older, that they call us journeymen, is we we fight whoever they put on us, so we can get to that level as those proteges.
Mhm.
And I don't like to consider me as a journeyman. I actually like to. I'm a boxer. I don't just go in there for the money to get paid. I train, I fight, and you won't see me quit until I'm absolutely out.
Yeah.
That's just how we are. That's why they call me El Toro, the bull, because I'll keep coming towards you until you're gonna have to knock me out if you want me to stop.
No, I mean, the reason I bring it up because I feel like people don't actually understand that in boxing, that you guys face, and not to call you a journeyman because not everybody's story is the same, right?
Oh yeah,
But there is advantages. For instance, you find somebody on Friday who's 10-0. I don't know if he signed to anybody, but they put him against you, and it's expected for him to I guess to take you out, and that's how they're looking
yeah,
at it, right?
the
Because
favorite. Yep.
yeah, like you're considered quote unquote a bag, no disrespect. That's how they're looking at it, and you're
Yeah.
like, this is my opportunity, and
Yes, sir.
it sucks because a lot of like it's a disadvantage if you fight a guy like I don't know who just came in. Like even when Lomachenko first came in, he was already signed to a major company. So like you don't have to. Your focus is fully on training. You still have to be a dad, work a job, and then come here. And that's why I got a lot of respect for you and for a lot of people that come boxers that are going through the same that you're going through, because in the NFL, those guys get training camp, they get all the same training, and then they show up and they get paid. It's not
Yeah.
like that for you. You know, Canelo gets to train. I mean, he's earned all that. Don't get it twisted.
Oh yeah.
Completely. He doesn't have to worry about, damn, I got to pay the light bill. I got to
Yeah.
take my kid to school. Like, it's a lot of big things. And I feel like dynamic wise in boxing that you guys don't get respect for. And I truly respect that. And that's why a lot of people might look at your record. Oh, he lost 3 straight. Yo, he's a bum. He's this. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, dude, like it's not as simple as you say. It's not actual equal playing field half the time.
Yeah.
So I admire the fact, first of all, you're putting your life on the line. You love this shit, which is crazy. I love boxing. I've been following boxing since I was a kid. I'm Puerto Rican, right? So
Yeah.
I literally would sit, it'd be me, my grandmother, my grandfather, and it would be like 100 Puerto Ricans in an apartment that maybe fits like 12 people. So we're all packed in there watching the fight. So
Making it work.
yeah. And I know the pride, especially when it comes to Latinos. You're a Mexican. You know what I'm saying? You're Mexican, and as you said, I'm Salvadorian, right?
Yes, sir.
And we take this, I think, like nobody else, right? And it's a pride. So I see the passion in it, and it just, to me, I wish the commissions and stuff like that would kind of level it out, because it isn't an even level playing field. So to me, you getting a victory in this situation is a lot bigger than a lot of other individuals, simply because what you have to go through in order to get. And I just want to take my hat off to you for that, because a lot of people wouldn't continue to move forward with it. And I know that you had a long layoff between, like, the first 4 fights you had. It was kind of consistent. I think you took a loss. Then it was like a gap, like almost like a year and a half. What transpired that made you kind of fall back?
Well, it had to do with a loss. To me, he was my family member. I call him my pops, like a grandfather to me. He's the one that got me started back up and believed in me. He's like, man, you're the only one I see in this whole gym that brings an actual bag with gloves, with hand wraps, shoes, everything you need to train for this. He's like, I know you want to do this. Let me help you.
Yeah.
And you know, much love to the man. He got me started. We we did this. I mean, it was his life. He loved it just as much as I did, and unfortunately, he passed away from cancer.
Moses.
And I did, kind of took it hard a little bit and just decided to take some time off. It hit me back, and it said, I heard him as my, I don't know how this would sound, but as much as I wanted to stop, I can hear him say that that's not what he would have wanted me to do, because he helped me so much into this. I know it would have made him more happy if I kept doing it. So I just, one day I said, you know what? Let me stop feeling sorry for this, and let me use it for more inspiration to get it done
So
for him.
so you kind of retired almost. Like, you kind of almost didn't want to do it no more.
Yeah, it just hit me really hard when he passed away, because, like I said, he was one of the only people that really believed in me when I first started. Because I'm telling you, I'm 5'6", 5'7" on a good day, you know, and
That's crazy.
I weighed 187, 189 when I first started, and I was a heavier kid for my height, you know, so nobody was looking at me, nobody was like, oh, here's, as you said, but here's another Hispanic just trying to lose some weight. No, I wanted to do. I've done it before, and I wanted to do it again. I wanted to see where it can actually take me. And he saw it, and yeah, he pushed me to it every day till the day he passed away. He told me, he's like, you can do it. He actually gave me my nickname. He he was there for me for everything. I still have things he left for me from our fights just to carry on everywhere with me, because I know if part of him, it will be with me everywhere I go.
Now, I mean, God bless, man. My condolences. Now you're back at it now after that long layoff that it mentally took you out the game. And again, it's part of boxing. It's part of life. Like, you guys actually have to live all of this, and it's crazy. You don't have, if you decide to go, they look at you like whatever.
Yeah.
Now you're back. You're motivated. how difficult is it for you to get back? Because again, when boxers the weight fluctuates. You said you're 5'6", you were at one point like 186. How hard is it to kind of stay in shape, and then also now fighting someone who looks looked at as a protege or whatnot? Um, to now you got to lose more weight because you got to go to 143. How difficult is that, man?
Well, honestly, I mean, I've never been that low. I've always 147 is what I've always dropped to, and I felt comfortable there. It was easy for me, you know. I cut the weight until thought I would be okay, and then the last couple days, just eat the way I needed to eat, and I dropped the weight, no problem. But a lot of people don't think 4 pounds is 4 pounds. I mean, especially if you haven't never gotten that low, it's a little harder because your body's not used to it. You got to adapt to it, and like I said, get used to it. But I mean, it's something we like to do, so we make it work, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good for this. So
Do you feel slighted that clearly they put you in front of this guy to kind of like give him I guess quote unquote give him a win in a sense? Do you use that as motivation? Do you take offense to that? How do you,
n-
how
no,
do you feel? Like I'd be pissed, man. I ain't gonna lie.
uh, I'm a very calm guy. I don't like to get upset. I feel like you get upset, you start losing track of your plan, your what you're to go to. I No, I don't get upset. I mean, it actually pushes me to having to get that win to get my status up higher. Because, like you said, I do have 3 losses, but my first one was to Jalil Hackett, and unfortunately, they did not let me continue that fight, which they should have. It was stopped early, but I did fight for Mayweather Promotions,
Yeah,
and Jalil Hackett was in that promotion, and it was a bigger stage. So what all my losses I've been learning, a learning process, and I've learned that you cannot use your full defense on a big fight like that, especially if you're a fighter like you would say a journeyman as me. You have to swing back, because if you don't, you even if they're not landing it on you, but they're throwing, they will stop the fight for, like you said, so they can get the win, so they can rise up. And I've been taking these 3 losses as learning experiences, and I do not just go on the defense anymore. I swing back. There's either one. It's either gonna be me or him.
yeah,
And if I'm gonna lose, I'd rather get knocked out before I lose over a stop just for
yeah. I understand.
covering up.
And it's kind of crazy, like you said. Like, look, you're going through that. Then you got it's crazy mentally. You got to worry about their investment. Like we just seen the Teofimo Lopez and Jermaine Ortiz fight, right?
Oh yeah,
And a lot of people got
good
Jermaine
fight.
Ortiz winning. Yeah, well, I actually got Teo winning. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm not
Oh
gonna
yeah.
But a lot of people feel like because T.O. is priority at top rank, that's why they tip the decision towards him. Does that ever play in your head, or what do you feel about it? Do you think that actually really does happen?
It does. It's a lot of politics, honestly. It really is, and that goes back to me saying on my defense. I may have good or bad defense, don't matter, but you have to show, if you are not the favorite, you have to show you deserve to be in there. You have to show that you won. And by that, I mean drop them, you know, drop them once or twice, or go to the top and knock them out. Because if you don't, if you're just both standing, both swinging, and you're both, because I mean, they both swung the whole fight, they both did their thing, and had their ups, they both had their goods and downs. But if the favorite will always win by decision, is how I feel.
Yeah.
If you're the favorite, you're gonna win by decision.
Mhm.
If you didn't, if the B side did not show they deserve to win, and by that is, like I said, either drop them or knock them out.
So, is that your mentality going into next Friday's fight?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're gonna be on him from the gate.
For sure. I've been doing 6 rounds, and they chose 4 on this one,
Mhm.
and so I have less time to show it. So I'm gonna go in there full heated with my hands, and I gotta set the pace fast from the
Uh,
beginning.
let me ask you a question. How does that get determined? Whether it's 4, 6, or 10 rounds? I never understood. I never actually like found out like how do they determine how many rounds it is?
You know what? Uh, that's a question I like an answer myself. Because I just recently signed to MG Ring Promotions
Yeah.
with Otis Griffin and George,
Hmm.
and um, they. I spoke to him. I'm like, well, he's 10-0. Why is he only doing 4 rounds still?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm 4-3, and I'm already wanting the 6 rounders, more rounds. What's and they really didn't have an answer for me at this time, but that's what he wanted to do. So
It
I mean,
sounds
that's
like
what we're gonna do.
it may be sounding like maybe his camp doesn't feel like maybe he tires out or something. He's not prepared for that. But I always wanted to know, like, why does it go from 4, 6, and then 10? Like, it's just weird to me. Like, I don't understand. But you definitely got to go in there with a different mindset because it's only 4 rounds. So now you got to be on his ass, like literally right off the rip.
Oh
What do you
yeah.
feel like? Oh, because I think he has 7 knockouts. So apparently, yeah, he got some punch. I haven't seen the guy fight. Watching him on tape, have you been able to dissect him? What's your strategy? How do you approach that in terms of um going into the fight? Like, do you watch film on him? What do you do?
Yeah, I watch a lot of film. I it could even be the same video. I'll be watching it over and over and over, watching his habits, watching how his. I mean, a boxer's best weapon is their jab. So I see how he likes to throw his jab, lazy, not lazy. I see what he likes to do often, how he does it, how he reacts to a certain punch.
Yeah,
uh like I say, he's a taller fighter. I'm usually the shorter fighter. My last I've had well, most of my fights I'm usually the shorter man.
5'6" at
But
welterweight. Yeah, man. Like,
yeah, so I mean, which is fine. I mean, I like to stick up to my name, and I like to stay in close and just pull the horns on the guy. And I mean, I stay in, like I said, I stay in close and just fight. So
what does this fight mean to you? And what does it do for you especially if you walk in there beat? Not especially to me, it seems like you're going in there for the knockout. You're not even going to let it try to go to the decision.
you
How
can't.
how big does this fight? What how big of a win would this be for you, and where do you believe it can take you?
I mean, I to win this fight, it'd be a big blessing, because, like we say, he's 10-0. My record has gone down a little,
Mhm.
which, like I said, I take it as a learning lesson. But taking this win would just build up my status back up. Yeah, sure, I'll be 5-3, but taking out a guy that's 10-0, and by knockout, it'll help me out to get back onto the bigger stages where I want to be again. That's another reason I started up again, because after Jaleel Hackett, I know that's where I learned my biggest regret, and that's not swinging back when I should have. And I want to have a chance to get back to the big stages, just to show that even if I do get considered a journeyman, I want to be considered a great journeyman. I want to put great fights. I want to people remember me, because uh, even if I were to take a loss, that loss wasn't just handed to that fighter. It was,
Yeah, yeah.
he had to deserve it to win it, and the only way to do that is to make it a big stages and show him that I can make it in there.
Yeah, I mean, and then that's the thing about, again, and no disrespect calling you German or like that, but like like a lot of people look at the records and stuff like that. So like it's almost like, yo, you're going into like, I need some knockouts. Like, Javante Davis. People tune into him because he knocks people out. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
he's undefeated, but people tune into that. When Arturo Gotti was knocking people out, he had losses. Boxing, and I think people tend to judge before they even know. Like, they see a record and they're like, "Oh man, this guy's," and people don't understand why certain records are they are. And this is a sport that you literally get killed in. So I definitely get it, and I'm definitely rooting for you, man. Like, I'm definitely cheering. You're a humble dude. I respect you. Um, but let me ask you some off things off to the fight real quick. I
All
just
right.
actually, because I've seen a funny ass article, and I was like, I just watched. I was doing my research on you, and I'm reading it. I'm like, okay, I'm fucking with it. Okay, I got it. Then I come across an article, and it's with Teofimo Lopez, because he's been going through a lot of media stuff right now. And I think your dad trained you, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, my dad and my good friend Alex Hernandez. Yeah, but my father, he's in, he's in my corner every fight. He's
Yeah.
He gets my cardio going. He does the strength and conditioning with me. He helps me out with my diets.
Yeah,
Like he, 'cause that's another thing. We don't get, hey, here's what you need to eat. This is what you need to do. No, we make it for ourselves. What we need to, we study what we need to do.
yeah.
And my father, he loves it just as much as I do. So as I mean, I work with my father every day. We work at the same shop
Oh, okay, okay.
every day. So I spend more time with him than I do with my family at home, which he is my family, is my father. But what I'm trying to say is I spend more time with him than I do at home. And my wife's always like, "Has your dad called you? What's your dad doing?"
That's
Because
all.
if he doesn't call me when we're not together, she's like, "That's weird. Where's he at?"
Yeah.
But yeah, he's one of my trainers, and man, I
And,
wouldn't have it any other way.
and that's another thing. Like I feel like the father son trainership is a little kind of weird. Like Shane Mosley had his dad training for years. They ended up having issues. Tiafimo, the father dynamic is weird, and that's why I was bringing it up because I just read an article where Shakur Stevenson leaked out that apparently he was at it was like a sparring session, and this is before Keyshawn Davis became pro. And I just watched it on Aki TV, and apparently, this is crazy. Keyshawn Davis knocked out Teofimo Lopez's father at the sparring session. And I'm gonna send you the link. And I watched it and I was like, nah, this can't be real. And Shakur Stevenson was taking shots at him. I was like, what kind of a dude watches his father get beat up and not do
Yeah,
anything? And I was just like, yo, that's kind of crazy. Because, like Teofimo and his father have like this weird dynamic. Like, I don't know if they're getting along or not. But like, dude, like, what do you think about that? Like, I mean, would you stand there? Like, because that's what they're claiming that he watched him just get beat up, which was crazy. I'll send you an article afterwards, but it's kind of nuts.
I'm telling you, I'm sure his father's a lot like mine. He's, that toughness,
Yeah,
that old school Hispanics where they're just like, nah, I don't care. Come on, put him up then. Because
yeah,
I know my dad does. My dad would be like, you ain't got nobody to spar today? Nobody came by? They
really.
put these gloves on. He'll put the whole body armor and everything, put gloves on, a headgear, and he'll get in there with me. He'll be like, let me. Even if he's hurting, he'll go in there with me. But no, yeah, that's one thing I wouldn't do. I've told my father, I'm like, I don't care if you're wrong. If let's say we're outside, you get in an argument, even if you're wrong,
Yeah,
I'm gonna have your back because you've always had my back. You're my father. I'm gonna be there. I'm not just gonna stand there and watch you get hurt. I'm
yeah,
gonna be there even if I know you're in the wrong.
yeah.
Because that's the right thing to do. I
No,
mean, he would do the same thing for me.
and I seen that shit. And I was like, yo, this is kind of crazy. And the father son dynamic is a lot about. I've seen some crazy shit. Like like I was watching Jose something. He's out of Harlem, and his dad was his trainer, and like it just seems like it might build a rift sometimes because at the end of the day, it is your dad. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But when I read the article, I was thinking myself, I was like, damn, his father trained him. Like, how difficult is that to have your father as your trainer? And even as a father, like, your son gets hurt, his instinct got to kick in. Was like, yo, I may have to stop the fight or whatever. And you're gonna be like, nah, you're probably
Uh,
the guy on my shield. Like, it is what it is. Um,
yeah.
and how's that like the father? I mean, I don't know, man. It's kind of crazy to me. I'm just being honest.
It has its ups and downs, just like any other relationship. I
Yeah,
mean, me and my father argue. We have there's times that we have, the best time. There's times that we'll be really mad at each other. We won't talk for days, but we'll come to a point that we don't even apologize. We'll just move forward and know this is what we want to do. He knows he likes being with me. I love him having him with me. So there's no need for apologizes between me and him. We just continue, move on, and act like it never happened. And yeah, it's tough having your father in your corner. It's having to, like for instance, you're messing up, what you did wrong, but your dad's gonna be there just repeating it and repeating it and repeating it, and just like anybody else, you get tired. You're like, I know, I know, but he's your dad, and he's gonna keep telling you. He's gonna keep telling you, keep pointing it out, having you to change that.
mm. Interesting.
It's tough, and like I said, I work with him daily, so I see him every day.
I just get tired of him. I get tired of
Yeah, I see
him.
him every day, every hour just about.
Nice.
And it's just, I mean, to like I said, I live 45 minutes from my gym that I train at, and I don't get out of the gym till like around 9 p.m. So I see him from, I say hello in the morning at work at 8 a.m., and I don't say goodbye to him till 9 p.m.
Mhm,
Every day,
mhm.
every day. So it's tough, but at the same time, I wouldn't have it any other way. It's I love it. I'd rather fight with him than not have him around because I know one day I won't. So
I'm with that. Now, you win this fight Friday. It's a Friday, the 24th. I've got what day?
Saturday,
Saturday, the
Saturday.
24th. Where do you go from there? Like, how do you get to the top fighters at 147 pounds? The Bud Crawfords, the Boots Ennis. How do you feel like what's it gonna take for you to get to that level?
Honestly, a lot more experience. Like we said, those guys are proteges. They've been fighting since they can walk, maybe even crawl. As soon as they can put their hands up, that's their life. That's what they were doing. Um, but I'd like to get bigger fights. I mean, even if it ain't those top fighters, I like to win a belt. Let it be a state belt. Let it be a IBF something. I'd like to get there. Have my name written down under a belt would be an amazing thing to have. Um, but I know I still have a journey to do that. I got this 10-0 guy. Hopefully we can get with my new promoters that I got with. Thanks to them, we don't go off numbers. We go off our strategies, the way we fight. Fighters we are convinced that are the type of fighters we can beat and get passed through, and hopefully, throughout this journey, we keep getting these fights, and I work my way up and see where I go from there. I really don't have to say how I'm gonna get there. I'm just gonna try to get through every fighter that comes in front of me to show that I belong there.
Respect. Who's your dream fight? Who do you say when you watch and we're like, I can beat that guy? Like who? Like I know there's got to be like when you're a kid, you play basketball, you're like yo, I want to play against Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? Who is
Yeah.
the guy that you sit there and you be like, I would love to just rock this dude. Like this is the guy I want to fight. This is the guy that I want to get to.
Man, there's just so much competition.
Yeah.
Uh, right now in my time, I don't know. There's just so many fighters out there, especially at 147, 140 to 147. That's a very competitive weight class. There are so many good fighters at that
Yeah.
weight class. I really couldn't say who I'd like to try to get in there with, because
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for any fighter that gets in the ring. And even though they're proteges and they get built up by getting a bunch of like us journeymen, they still put their work in to
Absolutely.
get there.
Yeah.
They still work hard. That's their daily job. They stay in the gym all day because that's what they have to do. That's where they get paid. So man, to really answer your question, I can't think of anybody I would really like to say, hey, let me just go give this guy a punch in the face. I mean, there's just so many good fighters out there. I just really can't. I can't right now.
All right. Well, on that note, man, I'll let you rock out. Let everybody know um, all the details of the fight, where they can watch it at. Um, and honestly, I'm rooting for you, man, Jose. You've earned a fan with me, man. I respect it. Your
Appreciate it.
drive, just stepping in that ring, I respect it, man. So just let them know.
Man, we're gonna be at the live casino in Maryland. I can't really tell you where it's gonna be streamed at right now. That's info I'm still trying to get for my friends and family around here. But you guys should stay tuned and hear out my name. I'm gonna keep fighting and fighting till I just can't no more. So um, I want to give a big thanks to my coach Alexander Hernandez, my father Jesus Belloso, my gym, Hunger and Action here in Springdale, and of course, more than anybody else, my new promoters, at MG Ring Production. They're doing a great job getting me these fights, and hopefully we can get through some people and get this thing going. You know.
All right, man. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for
I
everything.
appreciate you too, man. Good
All right,
talking to you.
all right, bro.
Later.